guys, it's Jamie, and in this video, we are going step by step how to treatment plan in Dentrix. This is a big topic, very important for hygienists, assistants, and doctors to know how to treatment plan and how to do it efficiently. So we're going to go through all of the steps on how to enter a treatment plan in, and then we're also going to go through how to keep it organized, so setting visits. We're going to go through referring cases out and linking alternate cases together. So giving patient multiple options and being able to link those cases together. So a lot to cover in this video. I also want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by MouthWatch. They make incredible intraoral cameras. It's the one I've used for years and I love it. They're high quality and super affordable. If you know me or if you listen to any of my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of intraoral cameras. I take photos pretty much on every single patient every time I see them, and very relevant to treatment planning. I would never treatment plan anything without taking a photo to educate the patient. When you can really show a patient what's going on in their mouth, they can understand the treatment. It's huge for case acceptance. So if you're not utilizing intraoral cameras, I highly recommend that you check out MouthWatch. I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to check them out. If you decide to order, use code JAIMETECH when you order and you'll get free shipping. Okay, now let's get into the video. Okay, so we're going to get right into treatment planning. So we want to be in a patient chart. And there's a couple key things that I want to mention before we even get into this. So these icons right up here are super important when you're charting existing or charting for treatment. So this first one, this green EO, this is existing other. So this is when you're charting existing restoration. If you want to see how to do that, I have another video that is step-by-step how to chart existing restorations. I'll leave a link for that if that's what you're looking for. This blue EX, this is for charting existing that was done in your office. This is not something that is used a lot because Dentrix does this for you automatically when you complete your appointments. It automatically posts these as existing in the chart. And then this red TX, this is what we're looking at today. This is treatment plan. And then this last one is completed. So again, not something that's used a lot from the chart because Dentrix will automatically recognize when an appointment is completed when you post it to the ledger from the appointment book. And then biggest thing here to me is this little light switch. It's called auto state. When it's turned off, you can see there's no square around any of these icons. When it's not on, everything that you treatment plan or everything that you chart, you have to click the tooth, click the treatment, and then also click treatment. It's a lot of separate clicks when you don't have it on. The purpose of auto state is when you have it turned on, everything that you chart will be automatically filtered into that category. So when auto state is turned on, you can see this square around it and then the square around the one that is selected right now. So right now it's on existing other. We'll want to change that to treatment when we're treatment planning. So just click it one time and you can see now there's a square around it. When you do this, now everything that you do will automatically be treatment planned. You don't have to click it every single time. Big time saver. So when both of those are set, let's get into actually treatment planning. So 2 areas that we can treatment plan from. The first is procedure buttons. I am a huge fan of procedure buttons. This makes treatment planning much simpler and much quicker. If you don't have procedure buttons set up for your office yet, I have a full video on how to set these up. I'll leave a link for that. I highly recommend checking that video out. If you don't have procedure buttons or for some reason you don't want to use them, you can also search by procedure codes. So all of the dental codes are listed over here. If you open these, expand them, you can see everything that's in there. And you can also use this search bar here. If you know dental codes, you can type in dental codes. And if you don't, it's really nice. You can actually just type in what you're looking for. So say I'm looking for a crown, I just type in crown and it pulls up everything that has crown on it. One reason I don't love treatment planning from procedure codes is, again, extra clicks. So say I'm treatment planning this crown, I have to click the tooth, click this, and click this post button to treatment plan it. Whereas when I'm doing it from procedure buttons, it's just one click. So saves a lot of time. One click maybe doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have a lot going on and a lot of treatment, it can add up. And so doing things as efficiently as possible, that's what I'm all about. So now that you know about procedure buttons and procedure codes, we're going to actually go through and treatment plan some procedures. We'll run through a scenario. We're going to select tooth number 14, say it needs a crown and buildup. Select the tooth. In my office, I have a button that is for a crown, a buildup, and a seat. This is called a multi-code. This is another thing that saves you so much time. You don't have to treatment plan a crown and a buildup and a seat crown all separately. You can bundle that into what Dentrix calls a multi-code. I use this for so many things. If you don't have these set up, I will also leave a link in the description for a video that shows you exactly how to set up multi-codes. I promise it will save you so much time. If you don't have that set up though, you can do each individually. So for the purpose of this video, that's what we will do. So we'll select our tooth, we'll select a crown, and you can see one click, it put this red crown on tooth number 14. That is treatment plan. So the next thing I want to do is add the buildup. So I have another button here for a core buildup. I'll click that. And you can see I didn't select the tooth first. So when you do that, Dentrix will automatically pop up and ask you for a tooth number. So we'll type in 14 and click OK. It does the same thing, so whatever makes more sense for you. If you want to click the tooth first or click the procedure first, you get to the same outcome. Clicking the tooth first saves you the extra step of having to type the tooth number in, however it makes more sense to you. So now we have this crown treatment plan on 14. I want to show you guys a couple other things. So I'm going to treatment plan a filling. So let's say tooth number 20 needs a DO composite. So I'll click the tooth, I'll click the composite filling. When you do that, Dentrix will automatically ask you what surface is. So you don't need a button for each surface. It will automatically ask you what surface is. So we'll say distal occlusal and click OK. And that adds this to our treatment plan. You can see it right here. Another big time-saving tip, if you have several teeth that need treatment, especially if they're the same treatment, you can do them all at once. So say 18 and 19 both need occlusal composite. I can select both teeth, click the composite button, click occlusal, and then click this use for all. This will add both of them at the same time. So a little cheat to save you a little bit of time, a couple extra clicks. So the treatment plan is in the patient's chart. Now we want to go through and organize it and keep it as clean as possible and make it easy for everyone in the office to know what's going on. So over here on this side panel, this treatment planner panel, if you don't have this on your chart, you can just go up to View, different chart layouts that come with Dentrix. And you can also create your own custom layouts if you want to. If you want a tutorial on how to create custom layouts, I'm happy to make a video on that as well. But if you click the treatment planner view, that will pull this panel up. This is what we want. This is where we make our treatment plan organized. So right here, you can see a file that has the treatment plan. This little plus next to it, that means there is treatment in this plan. So you can click this plus, or you can just double click on the treatment plan and that opens this file and you can see everything that's inside of it. So the first thing I do every time I create any treatment plan is I group visits together. So in this case, let's say that we're going to make the crown and buildup on 14 visit number 1, and we'll make the fillings visit number 2. So to do that, you right click on the procedure and you click move to visit 1. And you can see it put this 1 next to there. So we know that's all going to be in visit 1. Same thing for buildup. You can see now that there's already a visit 1, when I right click, it gives me the option to move to visit 2, create a new visit. Buildup we want to be with the crowns, we're going to keep that on visit 1. And then same for the fillings. Now you can do them one by one like that, or you can click and drag to highlight all of them at once. And then right click and click move to visit 2. That moves all of those procedures to visit 2. So now whoever's presenting the treatment plan to the patient, reviewing this with the patient, they have more information on what's going on. So not only do they know the treatment, but now they know the crown on 14 needs to be done first, and then the second visit will be the fillings. It just keeps it much cleaner and easier for everyone in the office to navigate this. Now I want to talk about creating separate treatment plans. So all of this is under this one file folder. You can create another treatment plan by selecting this icon here, this little file with the star. It says new case. If you click this, it will create a new file. You can have multiple treatment plans in here at one time. So I do this a lot for cases that we're referring out. If it's a future plan, something that the patient's not doing right now, or it's optional, things like that. Or if I want to give the patient 2 different options for treatment. And we're going to go through that and how to give 2 different options and how to link those cases together. So I'm going to delete out this treatment plan just to keep this clean. Okay, so now I have 2 empty treatment plans in here. So say the patient comes in and they have some chipping on 8 and 9. And we're giving them 2 options. They can do a composite bonding or they can do porcelain veneers. We want to give them both options so they can see all the information for both options. So to do that, this treatment plan is selected. So you can see one is bold and one is not. The one that's bold is our default case. So anything that you treatment plan is going to go into your default case. So to treatment plan this, we'll click 8 and 9 and we'll add veneers. You can see it added those into my treatment plan over here. Again, these were multi-codes because that's what I use in my office. So when you treatment plan a veneer, it will put the diagnostic cast, PA, the veneer itself, and seat veneer. So again, I would go ahead and organize these. So diagnostic cast would be first. So I'd right click, move to visit 1. We'll take a PA with our veneer. So click those. I'm going to click control, hold control, and click and drag on these also. That way I'm skipping this, but I'm highlighting all of these. And I'll right click, move those to visit 2, and then we'll seat the veneers at visit 3. So this is all option 1. So I'm going to rename this case because we're going to give this patient 2 options. So this is option 1. So I'm going to right click on this and click rename case. And we'll just title it option 1 veneers. Now we want to create another plan that has the bonding. So because this one is still bold, this is the default case. So if I start treatment planning the bonding, it's going to put it in this case. If I want to make this the default option, I can right click and say set case as patient's default treatment plan. Now this option is bold. We'll go ahead and rename it option 2 bonding. So now when we treatment plan the bonding, it will go into that file. So we'll select our teeth, we'll click composite, and we'll select our surfaces. And click use for all. We're going to do this for both teeth at once. You can see it put those on my chart. And if I open this file, it added those here. These would be done in one visit. So I'm going to click and drag all of these and move to visit 1. So now I have my 2 options. To link these cases together, this is something that I recommend doing anytime that the patient has multiple options and they're only going to select one option. You know, this patient is not going to have bonding and veneers done. They're only going to do one. So if you click this link icon, it says link alternate cases. You select the cases that you want to link together. So I'll check mark both of these and click OK. And you can see it put this little link icon next to each case. This bonding one, this was our default treatment plan. So it put a little star next to this one. This means this is set as the recommended case. And you can see on the tooth chart over here, it removed the veneers from the picture and it just left the bonding. This tells me, if I was looking at this, that this patient has 2 options. The bonding is the preferred option. Now say the veneers are actually the preferred option. You can change that. So you go to this case, right click on the case and click set as recommended case. And it swapped those out. So now this one has a little star by it, and you can also see the veneers are now option that are showing on the chart. You can move these around as well. So just for simplicity and in a way that makes the most sense to my brain, I would like option 1 to be on top. So you will click this case, highlight it, and click this arrow, move case up. And that just moves that one up ahead of this one. You can move cases around using these arrows. So that's how you link multiple options in Dentrix. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is referring cases out. So I'm going to delete all of these, again, just to keep things as clean as possible for this video. I'm just going to delete out all of these options. Okay, so if we're talking about referring out treatment, I think it's important to do this for many reasons, but it's mostly because it gives you a good record of what you recommended. Whether it's being done in your office or not, I still think it's important to have an accurate depiction of what you actually recommended to the patient. So for this case, let's go ahead and treatment plan ortho. So over here on my buttons, we have a button for ortho. So go ahead and click that. And then you can see in the file, it added this to our treatment plan. Again, this is another multi-code. We take a pano and intraoral photos at visit 1. We'll highlight those. Right click, move to visit 1, and then the ortho would be visit 2. So right click, move to visit 2. It doesn't really matter if you move them to visits or not, because in this case, we're referring it out, but my brain just automatically does that. Once you get in the habit of doing that, it becomes second nature and you do it so quickly. And to me, it just makes sense to have them grouped together. Okay, so we're gonna refer this entire case out. So to do that, we want to click the case, the file at the top, and click this icon that says Update Case Status. When you click that, it gives you these options. We'll go down to Referred, and it pulls up this screen. You can make a comment, and then you also want to select who you are referring them to. So you click this arrow. It pulls up all of the doctors in your referral system. You can select who you're referring them to and click OK. It puts that doctor's name, and you click OK. Now you can see Dentrix put this little icon on the file. So it's a little provider with an arrow that shows we're referring this case out. And it also put these little R's next to each procedure in here. That tells us that that procedure's been referred out. You can see if I double click in to open this, it also zeroed out the amount. It does this anytime you refer a case out because it's not something that you're doing in your office. So when you're presenting the treatment plan to patients, you don't want it to reflect a fee because this office's fees are likely different from yours. So it automatically sets anything that you refer out to $0. And it also automatically created a new treatment plan. So in Dentrix, it always will have one file at all times. So when you refer something out, it's no longer being done here. Dentrix automatically creates a new treatment plan. Now that's how you refer out an entire case. But sometimes there are scenarios where you only want to refer out one procedure in an entire case, in an entire plan. So to do that, say tooth number 14 needs a crown and build-up. So we treatment plan that, but it also needs a root canal first. So let's go ahead and treatment plan the root canal. You can see it put all of that into my treatment plan, but we're referring out for the root canal. So to do that, you can just open your file, select the procedure that you want to refer out, double click on it, and down here in this related referral section, you click this arrow and select who you're referring them to. So in this case, we're referring to a doctor, so click OK, and we'll select an endodontist and click OK. You can see it puts their name here and click OK. And again, it put this little R here. This is great for things that are part of a larger plan, where part of the procedure is being done in your office and part of the procedure is being referred out. So again, if I'm grouping these into visits, I still want this to be grouped into visit 1. The root canal needs to be done before we do the crown. The reason this is important, one of the reasons this is important, is so that everyone in the office knows what's going on. If I don't have this root canal treatment plan and I only put the crown and build up because that's what's being done in our office, when our treatment coordinator goes to schedule this, they might not realize that this patient needs to have a root canal first. They might go ahead and start scheduling the crown, not knowing the whole story. So I like to have a treatment plan in here. This needs to be done first, and then they'll come back in and have the crown and build up, and you move that to visit 2. This makes it very clear for everyone in the office to know what's going on. So I want to talk about some of these other icons up here. So this one is to delete cases. So if I click to delete this case, I'm highlighted on this whole case and click delete, it's going to tell me that we're deleting the patient's default treatment case. When you do that, you can click OK. It will not delete the procedures that are in there. It simply creates a new case and puts those into the new file. Sometimes this is useful, especially if you want the date to be updated. So right here it says created and it shows today's date. Sometimes I want the case file date to be updated to the day. If we're reviewing this treatment plan again with a patient 6 months later, I want that date to reflect that. But even if I change this date, the date inside, so if I double click on a procedure, the date here will always stay the same date as when you originally treatment planned it. That's important. You don't ever really want to change this date because it's important for the patient's record and for your doctor, for everyone. That's the date that this was officially diagnosed and treatment planned. So this date will not change, only the date on the case file. So that was for a default treatment plan. So say we tried to delete this plan that's not set as our default. If I click this, it gives me 2 options. So the first option is to delete the case and add all the procedures to the default plan, kind of like what it did on the last one, where it put them into a new file. The second option is to delete all the procedures for that case. I almost never select this. It's almost always the first one because I don't want to delete the actual procedures in the case unless it was entered by mistake or for some other reason like that. I want
the original treatment planned procedures to stay in their chart. So you can do that though, and you can click this and it will just add it to a new case. Now, if a patient is not going to move forward with treatment, I would not delete the treatment. It's very important that it's still recorded that you recommended this treatment. So say in this case, this patient's like, I can't afford it, whatever the reason, I'm not going to go do this treatment. You can reject this treatment plan. So click, highlight the treatment, and then go up to this icon that says update case status and go down to rejected. You can put a note here about why they rejected it and click OK. And you can see now that it put this icon next to here that tells us this was rejected. And it also updated this, so it now says rejected and the date it was rejected on. This also removes the treatment from the chart, so you no longer see it, but there's still a record that it was recommended to have this treatment done. Down here, you can select to either include or not include rejected cases on this panel. So you can see if I uncheck that, it goes away. That way, if you just don't want to see it anymore, you can hide that or include it, whatever makes most sense for your office. On this update case status, you can also change to proposed, accepted, and completed if you want to. So that way you know where the patient is at in their treatment plan. This next one, this looks like a little traffic light. It's a set case severity. If you click this, you can set the case as an immediate need, an eventual or future need, or an optional treatment plan. So when you click that, it puts that little symbol next to it. So you know this is something that is just optional. Patient doesn't need to do it versus if it was immediate, like this is something this patient needs right away. So kind of at a glance, you can see what type that treatment plan falls into. From here, if this patient had any consent form that they needed to sign, you can have them set up here. And then this print icon, you can print your treatment plan to review with patients. So I'll click it and click print treatment case. From here, you can make any selections that you want, information that you want to show or not show on the printed treatment plan. I'll do a print preview just to give you kind of an example of what this looks like. So this can be customized to how you want it in your office, the design of it, and all of that. And we're going to go much more into detail on treatment planning presentation in another video, but I just kind of wanted to give you a quick glance at what it can look like. So you can see on here, it shows the procedures that are recommended, the office fee. If this patient had dental insurance, there would be another column for what their estimated insurance payment would be, and then the patient portion. In this patient, they don't have insurance, so it just automatically takes that line out. The last thing I would do with treatment planning, and this is not specifically a Dentrix tip, but what I always do every time I'm treatment planning is I take intraoral photos. I am a big fan of intraoral photos. I think it shows so much. It's amazing for patient education, and you can use it for so many things like with your insurance claims. That's a big one right now. Insurance companies denying procedures. When you have something to kind of back up that information, it can help so much. So I would highly recommend, if you don't have an intraoral camera, I use the MouthWatch camera. I love it. It's very basic, easy to use, and affordable. I use their basic model. It's $299. They also have a MouthWatch Plus HD camera now that's $999. Both amazing, but really if you're looking for something just like easy to use and affordable, the $299 one is amazing. We have one in every operatory in our office, which saves so much time. If you're going to use cameras, I would get one in every room, put it there when you need it. But if something's going on, we're treatment planning something, I'm going to take a photo so I can show the patient what's going on. They can see, they can understand why they need the treatment. So every time I treatment plan something, I take a photo. I take a photo like this so that I can pull it up in front of the patient. I can explain what's going on in their own mouth so that they understand. And then I can also use that same photo to send to their insurance company to help advocate on my patient's behalf. So if you don't use a camera, I highly recommend that you get one. If you want to know the one that I use, I will leave a link in the description. And if you use that link, you will get free shipping.
Okay, so that was all of the steps on treatment planning in Dentrix. So a lot to it, but super important to start getting comfortable with how to do this. The more that you do it, the more efficient that you'll be with it. If you like videos like this, I put out Dentrix tutorials and dental tech tips every week. So if you're not subscribed, I encourage you to do so that you don't miss the next video. And if you're interested in any of the resources that I mentioned during this video, like the MouthWatch camera, there's a link in the description below so that you can access everything quickly and easily. And I will see you guys in the next video.